Hey there, you looking kinda cute. Please consider subscribing and check out our Patreon for more. Enjoy the video. Ivan and Bella had been friends since they were kids. They did everything together, played in the dirt, climbed trees, and got into all sorts of mischief. As they grew older, their bond only strengthened. They confided in each other about everything. Well, almost everything. There was one secret that Ivan kept locked away, even from Bella. One sunny afternoon, Ivan and Bella were hanging out at his place, bored out of their minds. "Let's do something crazy," Bella suggested, a mischievous glint in her eye. "What did you have in mind?" Ivan asked, knowing that Bella's idea of crazy usually involved some sort of trouble. "Let's play dress up," she said with a smile. "You know, like we used to when we were kids." Ivan felt his heart skip a beat. He hadn't thought about those childhood games in a long time. Back then, it had been innocent fun, trying on their parents' clothes and goofing around. But now, the idea of dressing up suddenly took on a whole new light. "I don't know, Bella," Ivan replied, trying to hide his unease. "We're a little old for dress-up, don't you think?" Bella pouted, her lips forming a perfect, exaggerated frown. "Come on, Ivan, don't be a bore. Where's your sense of adventure?" She knew how to push his buttons, and he found himself unable to resist her playful pleading. "Fine," he conceded with a sigh. "But only if you promise not to make me wear one of your frilly dresses." Bella laughed, her eyes sparkling with excitement. "Deal. Now, let's get started." They raided their closets, digging out old clothes and forgotten accessories. Bella pulled out a box of makeup, her eyes lighting up at the sight of the colorful palettes and shiny lipsticks. "I almost forgot about this," she said, a devious smile playing on her lips. "Makeup was always my favorite part of dress-up." Ivan felt a flutter of anxiety in his stomach as he watched her swatch different colors on her hand, but he pushed it aside. This was Bella, his best friend. Whatever she had planned, he trusted her. Bella started with his eyes, sweeping a dark shade across his lids and blending it expertly. "Keep still," she ordered, her tone playful but authoritative. "This is the fun part." Ivan obeyed, holding his breath as she transformed his face with careful strokes of her brushes. He felt exposed, vulnerable, as if she were seeing a part of him that no one else had ever seen. "There," she said finally, stepping back to admire her handiwork. "Now for the finishing touch." She selected a bold red lipstick and carefully applied it to his lips, her touch gentle and precise. "All done," she declared, handing him a mirror. Ivan hesitated, his heart pounding in his chest, then slowly raised the mirror to his face. The person staring back at him was unrecognizable. His eyes seemed larger, more intense, and his lips, painted a vibrant red, were transformed into a canvas of their own. He traced a finger gently over the smooth surface of the lipstick, a rush of unfamiliar emotions washing over him. "What do you think?" Bella asked, her voice soft and curious. Ivan struggled to find the right words. "It's incredible," he whispered, his voice filled with awe. "I had no idea makeup could do this." He studied his reflection from different angles, fascinated by the way the light played off his face, accentuating the contours and shadows Bella had created. "You really are an artist, Bella." She beamed at his compliment, her eyes shining with satisfaction. "I'm glad you like it. I thought it might be fun to try something different." Ivan continued to gaze at his reflection, his mind racing with thoughts he couldn't quite articulate. "I feel like a different person," he said, his voice laced with wonder. "It's strange, but I kind of like it." Bella smiled, her expression one of knowing satisfaction. "I thought you might. Makeup has a way of transforming us, letting us explore different facets of ourselves." She paused, her eyes locking with his. "And sometimes it reveals things we never knew we wanted." Ivan swallowed, his throat suddenly dry as her words resonated deep within him. "Hey, you okay?" Bella asked, her voice breaking through his reverie. "You've gone all quiet." "Yeah, I'm fine." Ivan replied, snapping out of his trance. Just processing, I guess. He set the mirror down, his fingers lingering on the cool surface for a moment before letting go. It's a lot to take in. I get it, Bella said, her tone understanding. It's not every day you see yourself in a whole new light. She paused, her eyes searching his. But I think it suits you. It brings out a side of you that's been hidden. Yvonne felt a rush of warmth at her words. Really? You think so? He couldn't hide the hint of hopefulness in his voice. Definitely, Bella asserted, her confidence unwavering. It's like you've unlocked a secret part of yourself that's been waiting to come out. Ivan smiled, a feeling of liberation washing over him. Maybe I have, he conceded, his voice gaining strength. I never knew how powerful a bit of makeup could be. He paused, considering his reflection once more. It's like I'm seeing myself for the first time. That's the beauty of it, Bella said, her eyes reflecting a shared understanding. Makeup isn't just about covering up or enhancing. It's about exploration and self-expression. She stepped closer to him, her voice lowering conspiratorially. And sometimes it's about discovering parts of ourselves we never knew existed. Yvonne nodded, feeling a sense of camaraderie with Bella in this unusual moment of self-realization. You're right, he said, his voice steady and sure. I feel like I've stepped into a new world, and I kind of like the view. They shared a smile, their connection strengthening with this newfound revelation. Ivan felt a surge of gratitude for Bella's intuition and her willingness to push boundaries. So, now what? He asked, his curiosity getting the better of him. Do we take this further? Bella's eyes lit up at his question, and she bit her lip, contemplating the possibilities. Well, she began, her tone suggestive, we could always go shopping. Ivan raised an eyebrow, a mix of excitement and apprehension washing over him. Shopping? Yeah, Bella continued, her enthusiasm building. You know, for clothes. Real clothes. Not just playing dress-up with our old stuff. Yvonne's heart skipped a beat as he considered the prospect. You mean like going to a store and actually buying women's clothes? He asked, his voice laced with a mixture of excitement and uncertainty. Exactly, Bella said, her eyes sparkling with mischief. We can find outfits that suit this new side of you. It'll be like creating a whole new you. Ivan took a deep breath, his mind racing with anticipation and nerves. Okay, he said, his voice steady despite the turmoil within. Let's do it. Bella clapped her hands, her excitement palpable. Great, we'll start with the basics. Skirts, dresses, maybe a pair of heels. Oh, and we can't forget lingerie. Ivan felt a rush of heat at her mention of lingerie, but he pushed aside his nerves, determined to embrace this unexpected journey. The next day they ventured out, their excitement palpable. Ivan felt a rush of nerves as they entered the mall, his heart pounding in his chest. Relax, Bella said, sensing his tension. We're just here to have fun, remember? Ivan nodded, forcing a smile as they wove their way through the bustling crowds. They made their way to the women's section, the array of colors and styles overwhelming. Ivan felt a surge of excitement as he ran his fingers over the soft fabrics, his heart pounding in his chest. Bella held up a form-fitting dress, the material hugging her body. What do you think of this? She asked, her eyes sparkling with amusement. Ivan felt his face flush as he imagined himself in the sleek garment. I think it would look better on me than on you, he said, his voice laced with playful confidence. Bella laughed, a delighted sound that drew the attention of a nearby salesperson. I think you're right, she said, setting the dress back on the rack. Let's see what else we can find. They spent hours browsing, trying on outfits and striking poses in front of the fitting room mirrors. Ivan surprised himself with his willingness to experiment, shedding his inhibitions as he stepped into each new ensemble. He modeled a sleek black dress, the fabric hugging his curves in all the right places, and a flirty floral skirt that made him feel light and playful. Bella was an encouraging audience, offering her honest opinions and guiding him through the world of women's fashion with an expert's eye. As they left the mall, arms loaded down with bags, Ivan felt a sense of exhilaration. "I can't believe we did that," he said, his voice laced with awe. "I know, right?" Bella replied, her eyes shining with excitement. "And you look amazing, by the way. That black dress was made for you." Ivan felt a rush of satisfaction at her compliment, the outfit making him feel powerful and confident. "Thanks," he said, his voice warm with gratitude. "I never thought I'd enjoy dressing up so much." The thrill of their shopping excursion lingered as they made their way back to Ivan's place, the sun setting behind them. "So, do you feel different?" Bella asked, her eyes curious as she regarded her friend. "Now that you've taken the plunge?" Ivan considered her question, his mind replaying the events of the day. "I do," he said finally, his voice steady and sure. "I feel like I've unlocked a part of myself that was hidden away. It's like I've discovered a whole new world." Bella smiled, her expression one of knowing satisfaction. "I knew you'd feel this way," she said, her voice warm and encouraging. "And I'm glad you get to experience it." Ivan paused, reflecting on the day's events. "It's strange," he said, his voice thoughtful. "I always felt like something was missing, but I could never quite put my finger on it. Now it's like I've found the missing piece." He turned to Bella, his expression filled with gratitude. "Thanks to you." Bella's heart warmed at his words, and she felt a deep sense of connection to her friend in that moment. "You're welcome," she said, her voice soft and sincere. "I'm just glad I could help you discover this side of yourself. It's a pretty amazing feeling, isn't it?" Ivan nodded, his eyes sparkling with a mixture of emotions. "It is," he said, his voice thick with feeling. "It's like I've been set free, like I can finally be my true self." They reached Ivan's place, the warm glow of the setting sun bathing the building in a soft light. "So what now?" Ivan asked, a hint of anticipation in his voice. "Do we keep this our little secret?" Bella bit her lip, her eyes thoughtful as she considered the question. "Only if you want to," she said finally, her tone understanding. "It's completely up to you. I'll support whatever you decide." Ivan thought for a moment, his mind weighing the possibilities. "I think I want to share this with someone," he said finally, his voice steady. "But just one person, for now." Bella's eyes widened, her curiosity piqued. "Oh yeah? Who's the lucky person?" she asked, a playful smile tugging at her lips. Ivan took a deep breath, steeling himself as he made his decision. "My sister, Rachel," he said, his voice resolute. "She's away at college, but she's coming back to visit next week. I think she'd understand, and I trust her." Bella nodded, her expression supportive. "That's great," she said, her voice warm. "Rachel's always been open-minded. I'm sure she'll be amazing." The following week, Ivan and Bella spent their days eagerly anticipating Rachel's arrival. They discussed outfit options, debated the best way to break the news, and rehearsed potential reactions. The anticipation built as the days ticked by, until finally it was the eve of Rachel's return. "Are you nervous?" Bella asked, her eyes filled with a mixture of excitement and concern. "A little," Ivan admitted, his voice steady despite the butterflies in his stomach. "But I think it's the right time. Rachel's always been the one person I can confide in." The next afternoon, Ivan and Bella awaited Rachel's arrival, their hearts racing with anticipation. The sound of the door opening announced her presence, and they turned to greet her, their eyes shining with excitement. "Rachel!" Ivan exclaimed, his voice filled with joy as he pulled his sister into a tight embrace. "It's been too long." Rachel smiled, her eyes sparkling as she returned the hug. "I know. I've missed you both so much. It's good to be back." She stepped back, her gaze flicking between Ivan and Bella, taking in their eager expressions. "So, what's all this about? You two are acting all mysterious." Ivan exchanged a glance with Bella, a silent communication passing between them. "We have something to show you," he said finally, his voice steady. "Something we've been keeping secret." Rachel's curiosity was piqued, her eyes narrowing slightly as she studied her brother and his friend. "Oh yeah? And what's that?" she asked, her tone playful yet probing. Yvonne took a deep breath, steeling himself for the revelation. "We need to go upstairs," he said, his voice low and deliberate. "It's easier to show you than to explain." Rachel's eyebrows knit together in confusion, but she followed Ivan and Bella without hesitation. They entered Yvonne's room, the sun streaming through the windows and casting a warm glow over the space. "Close your eyes," Yvonne instructed, his voice heavy with anticipation. Rachel obeyed, her curiosity growing as she heard the rustle of paper and fabric. "Okay, you can open them now," Ivan said, his voice shaking slightly. Rachel's eyes widened as she took in the sight before her. Ivan stood before her, transformed. He wore a sleek black dress, similar to the one they had purchased during their shopping excursion, its fitted silhouette accentuating his curves. His hair was styled differently, falling softly around his face, and his makeup was expertly applied, his eyes smoky and his lips a bold shade of crimson. Bella stood by his side, a proud smile on her face, her eyes sparkling with excitement. Rachel remained silent for a moment, taking in the scene before her. "Wow," she breathed, her voice filled with admiration. "You look incredible." Ivan felt a rush of relief at her reaction, his shoulders relaxing as he allowed himself to breathe. "Thank you," he said, his voice thick with emotion. "It means a lot to hear you say that." Rachel stepped forward, her gaze softening as she regarded her brother with newfound understanding. "You know you can tell me anything, right?" she said, her voice gentle. "I'm your sister, always here to support you." Ivan nodded, his eyes glistening with unshed tears. "I know," he said, his voice cracking slightly, "and that's why I wanted to share this with you. It's been a secret for too long." Rachel smiled, her eyes shining with love and acceptance. "I'm glad you did," she said, her voice warm and genuine. "And I'm happy that you feel comfortable enough to express yourself like this." She turned to Bella, her expression grateful. "Thank you for being there for him." Bella beamed, her eyes sparkling with happiness. "Of course," she said, her voice filled with affection for her friends. "We're in this together, always." They spent the rest of the afternoon chatting, laughing, and sharing stories, the sun slowly setting as their bond deepened. As the sky outside turned a beautiful shade of pink and purple, Rachel turned to Ivan, her expression thoughtful. "You know, I have a friend who runs a local drag show," she said, her eyes alight with an idea. "I think you'd be a fantastic addition." Ivan's eyes widened at her suggestion, his heart racing with a mix of excitement and nerves. "Really?" he asked, his voice shaking slightly. "You think I'm ready for something like that?" Rachel nodded, her confidence unwavering. "Absolutely," she asserted, her tone sure. "You've got the look, the confidence, and the attitude. Trust me, you'll be a huge hit." Yvonne paused, considering her words, his mind racing with the possibilities that lay ahead. "It's a lot to take in," he said finally, his voice steady, "but I think I'm ready to give it a shot." Bella's eyes lit up at his decision, her enthusiasm bubbling over. "This is amazing!" she exclaimed, her hands clapping together in delight. "I can't wait to see you perform. You're going to be incredible." Rachel grinned, her eyes sparkling with excitement. "I know it, and I'll be there, front row center, cheering you on." Ivan felt a surge of gratitude for his sister and best friend, their unwavering support giving him the courage to embrace this new path. "Thank you both," he said, his voice thick with emotion. "I couldn't do this without you." As the trio began to plan for Ivan's drag debut, a newfound sense of purpose filled the air. They spent hours discussing stage names, outfit ideas, and potential performances, their excitement growing with each passing moment. Ivan found himself drawn to the idea of embodying a fierce, confident persona on stage, a stark contrast to his usually reserved demeanor. With Bella and Rachel's encouragement, he began to craft his alter ego, pouring his heart and soul into every detail. Bella took charge of the costume design, her artistic eye and fashion expertise guiding Ivan's transformation. She sketched out ideas, scouring fabric stores and thrift shops for the perfect materials to bring her visions to life. Together, they created a stunning array of outfits, each one more daring and beautiful than the last. From shimmering sequined dresses to sleek, form-fitting bodysuits, Ivan's drag wardrobe began to take shape, a tangible representation of his newfound confidence and self-expression. As the weeks passed, Ivan found himself spending more and more time in Bella's company, their bond deepening with each shared experience. Late-night sewing sessions turned into heart-to-heart conversations, the two friends sharing their hopes, fears, and dreams for the future. Bella's unwavering support and understanding became a lifeline for Ivan, a constant reminder that he was not alone in his journey of self-discovery. Rachel, too, played a crucial role in Ivan's transformation, using her connections in the local drag community to secure him a spot in an upcoming show. She introduced him to other performers, their shared passion for the art form creating an instant kinship. Ivan found himself drawn into a world of glitter, glamour, and unapologetic self-expression, his nerves giving way to a growing sense of excitement and anticipation. As the night of his debut performance approached, Ivan's heart raced with a mixture of fear and exhilaration. He stood backstage, his hands shaking as he applied the final touches to his makeup, the dressing room buzzing with the energy of his fellow performers. Bella and Rachel were by his side, their encouraging words and reassuring touches calming his nerves and bolstering his confidence. The moment Ivan stepped onto the stage, the world fell away, replaced by the bright lights and the roar of the crowd. He moved with a grace and confidence he never knew he possessed, his body becoming an instrument of expression and emotion. As he lip-synced to the pulsing beat of the music, he felt a rush of adrenaline, the thrill of the performance coursing through his veins. The audience erupted in applause as Ivan took his final bow, the sound of their cheers filling the air. He felt a surge of pride and accomplishment, the realization that he had just taken a monumental step in his journey of self-discovery. As he made his way backstage, he was greeted by the beaming faces of Bella and Rachel, their arms open wide in a congratulatory embrace. "You were incredible!" Bella exclaimed, her eyes shining with tears of joy. "I knew you had it in you, but seeing you up there owning that stage, it was magical." Ivan felt a rush of emotion at her words, his heart swelling with gratitude for her unwavering support. "I couldn't have done it without you," he said, his voice thick with feeling. "You've been there for me every step of the way, and I can't thank you enough." Rachel joined in the celebration, her face split in a wide grin. "You were born for this, Ivan," she said, her voice filled with pride. "The way you commanded that stage, the connection you had with the audience, it was electric. I have a feeling this is just the beginning of something truly special." Ivan nodded, his mind already racing with the possibilities that lay ahead. "I think you're right," he said, his voice steady and sure. "This feels like the start of a whole new chapter in my life." Thanks for watching. Be sure to check out Patreon for a lot more content and early access to YouTube videos.